you can straight away go to slide number 21, madam. Yes. So I'll start with the theories of emotions today. Also, I'll be dealing with the expression of emotions. Then emotions are as a adaptive and disruptive role in our mindset. That is positive emotions and negative emotions. How to manage the negative emotions and how to enhance the positive emotions, and training and modifying your emotions. This is the second chapter I'm dealing with. Actually, the first chapter, second chapter, more or less, it's a repetition. At least the theories, they are just a repetition. So I'll just cover the theories one by one. So in our text, we have 6 theories. See, the theories can be grouped into physiological, neurological, and cognitive theories. Physiological theories meaning our body is responsible for our emotions. I think I've dealt a little bit about it yesterday. How our when we are scared or when we are really happy, how our body leads to our emotions. So those sort of theories are called the physiological theories. Then there are the neurological theories, where more specifically they say that the brain leads to our emotional responses to the various stimuli. Okay, these are the neurological responses. And then the cognitive theories, where our day-to-day thoughts, our previous past history, and the knowledge, our mental activity, based on the knowledge. Say, if suppose a dog comes close to us, the Tamil sudharikradhu solluvaanga. That is, we immediately try to move away from the area. So that mental activity, this is called as cognitive theories. Okay. So there are 6 theories. Mainly the first I'll deal with the evolutionary theory. The previous slide. Previous. Go to the previous slide. Yes. So first, the evolutionary theory of emotion. Now, as we know, Mr. Charles Darwin, a biologist, he was the first one to propose that the evolutionary theory of the human Homo sapiens. So likewise, he proposed that he talks about how our emotions are evolved as we I mean, right from the animals to human beings, and then from as a human being from the infants to adults. Um, Hi, am I audible?
There was a big pause in between.
Yeah. I was speaking. I don't know.
Okay. Little more louder, sir.
Little more louder. Okay.
Yeah.
So Charles Darwin, I hope we all know him. So he first proposed how the emotions got involved, um, both the humans and animals alike. So in his book, he talks about how we survived in caves, how we got scared of animals whenever there is a there is an animal passing by near the cave. No, there'll be a sound of water. I mean, I can just straying away a little bit from the topic. Actually, Tamil salamnu ஒரு வார்த்தை இருக்கு. Some households call it as jalam. Actually, salamnu ஒரு வார்த்தை இருக்கு. That is one of the purest Tamil word. It means water actually. அந்த வார்த்தை எப்படி அந்த சொல் எப்படி உருவாகுதுன்னா குகையில மனுஷங்க குகையில இருந்தப்ப சரௌண்டிங்ல இருக்க அந்த லேக்ஸ் அந்த வாட்டர் பாடிஸ்ல அனிமல்ஸ் வந்து மிதிக்கிறப்ப அந்த சல் சல்னு அந்த சத்தம். ஸோ தட் கிரியேட்டட் a fear among the people in the cave. So that is an example. So likewise, he started compounding from the earlier Homo erectus and then Homo sapiens. Idellame he started proposing. So he talks about the feelings of love and affection, how it started people to choose their mates, and subsequently how it started led to reproduction, a society, a community. All these things he talks about. And the feelings of fear actually propel the people to either fight or flee the source of danger. So in his book he talks about why fear leads to people reproducing more. This is an age-old theory. Actually, he says that the more people in our household, I mean that particular cave, the more they are equipped. They feel they are equipped. Okay, so even to date, we can see some communities reproducing, having more children. This is an age-old belief. So, according to this evolutionary theory of emotion, our emotions form in our system, and they exist because they always serve as an adaptation to our surrounding circumstances and surrounding environment. So these emotions motivate people to respond quickly to the stimuli, external stimuli, which will help improve the chances of survival for the particular individual. So understanding the emotions of other people and animals also plays a crucial role in safety and survival. Towards the end of this chapter, we'll be dealing with facial expressions. So likewise, the people who are nearby us or opposite to us, based on the facial expressions, we tend to understand or predict that this person is going to react this way. So that is about our understanding the emotions of our neighbors. So for example, if you encounter a hissing, spitting or clawing animal, there are chances that the animal is actually frightened and it is trying to be defensive. Actually, they say that snakes actually hiss and they அந்த பாம்பு படம் போட்டது அந்த பயமுறுத்துறது எல்லாமே it is actually a reaction of fear actually. So by being able to correctly interpret the emotions of the surrounding thing, we can safely avoid danger and either fight or flee. We'll do that. So this is about the evolutionary theory of emotion, what Mr. Charles Darwin proposed. And then we move on to our James-Lange theory of emotion.
Anbu sir, shall I give one example?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, as you said, this snake thing. So I mean, one example came to my mind. It is that Mayalagan. Actually, you quoted this earlier. Mayalagan movie. I think many of you would have seen that. In that movie, what happens is Arvind Swamy comes to his friends. I mean, not friends. Actually, he's a far away relative. Actually, that is his own native place. He comes back for a marriage. So he sees this friend or a relative. He doesn't know who he is. So without knowing him, he tries to get along, but he doesn't know what his relationship is between. So he comes to his house. நான் தமிழ்லயே சொல்லுவேன்.
Yes, I hope everyone understands Tamil.
Yes. So what happens is அவர் வீட்டுக்கு கூட்டு போவாரு. கார்த்தி தான் அவரோட ஃப்ரெண்டு. ஸோ அரவிந்த் சுவாமி வந்து வாட் ஹேப்பன்ஸ் இஸ் ஹில் டேக் டு ஹிஸ் ஹவுஸ். அது ஒரு தஞ்சாவூர்ல ஒரு ஊர்ல இருக்கிற வீடு அது. ஸோ ஊர்ல இருக்கிற வீடுன்னு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா, அந்த வீடு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா தோட்டம் அதெல்லாம் இருக்கும் அந்த வீட்டை சுத்தி. ஸோ இவங்க பேசிக்கிட்டே இருக்கும்போது என்ன ஆகும்னா, நைட்ல வந்து தே வில் கம் டு த ஹவுஸ். அண்ட் அந்த வீட்டில் என்ன ஆகும்னா, கார்த்தி அவர் ஃப்ரெண்டோட ஒய்ஃப் இருப்பாங்க. ஒய்ஃப் வந்து உள்ளேருந்து வருவாங்க. பேசிக்கிட்டே இருக்கும்போது அவங்க என்ன சொல்லுவாங்கன்னா, ஏதோ ஒரு நேம் சொல்லி, அது நடமாடுற டைம் இது, ஸோ அதனால வந்து உள்ள வந்துருங்கன்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. அந்த நேம் அவங்க சொன்னது வந்து அது ஸ்னேக்கோட நேம் ஆக்சுவலா. ஸோ ஸ்னேக்கை வந்து என்ன சொல்லுவாங்கன்னா, ஸ்னேக் இப்போ போற டைம் உள்ள வந்துருங்கன்னு சொல்லி கார்த்திகிட்ட சொல்லுவாங்க. ஸோ நேம் சொன்னதுனால அரவிந்த் சுவாமி வில் நாட் அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட் வாட் ஷீ இஸ் சேயிங். யார் அது, யார் ஃப்ரெண்டு, யார் வர்றதுக்கு முன்னாடி நம்மளை உள்ள வர சொல்றாங்க அப்படின்னு சொல்லி அரவிந்த் சுவாமி வில் ஆஸ்க். ஸோ த திங் இஸ், அந்த ஸ்னேக் வந்து அவங்களுக்கு அவ்வளோ அடாப்ட் ஆயிருக்கும். ஓகே, தே நோ இட், தே நோ பை நேம். I mean, they give a name to that, and according to that, they know when it comes and when it goes, and they know how it reacts to their reactions. So accordingly, they behave. இது வந்து அரவிந்த் சுவாமிக்கு தெரியாது. அரவிந்த் சுவாமிக்கு அப்புறம் வந்து கார்த்திக் சொல்லுவாப்புல, இந்த மாதிரி அவர் சொல்றது வந்து உள்ள பாம்பு இருக்குன்னு. பாம்பா அப்படின்னு சொல்லி அடிச்சு பிறண்டு ஓடுவாரு. ஸோ that is how it says. இப்போ நீங்க சொன்ன அன்பு சார் சொன்ன மாதிரி, when you get along with a creature, I mean animal, okay, so if you understand their kind of behavior, okay, so you don't have to get frightened about that animal. Okay, so what happens is, they move along with you, so you don't feel like it's an animal. Okay, it comes and goes. Okay, it is a part of their kind of a family becomes. Okay, so that's how the evolution theory is all about. So it even you can even you can example with your work culture also. So when you get along with a guy, if you understand his behavior, how he will react to such situations, and how he will respond to your behavior, and how he reacts to your kind of behavior, if you get along with them and understand those things, so you can have a mutual understanding between your colleagues or your spouse or your family members or friends. So this will help a lot actually. So once you understand their behavior, how they behave and how they react to your behavior relatively, so this will be a great emotional understanding. So that is what I want to put it. Hope this matches this thing. Anbu sir?
Yes. See,
Yeah.
Mayalagan, since you raised that name, of late, சமகாலத்தில் இருக்கிறதுனால we don't understand the importance of him. அதில் வந்து அவ்வளோ ரொம்ப சின்ன சின்ன எமோஷன்ஸ் மெல்லி ஏதோ சூப்பராக பண்ணியிருக்காங்க. Very good understanding for human psychology, that movie.
Yes. Thank you sir.
Yes. So I'll move to this James-Lange theory of emotion. So this is a physiological theory. And as I said at the beginning of the class, there are physiological theories, neurological theories, and cognitive theories. This James-Lange theory is a physiological theory of emotion. It was proposed by psychologist William James and physiologist G.G. Lange. So the crux of it is emotions occur as a result of our physiological reactions to events happening around us. So when there is an external stimulus, it leads to a physiological reaction, and your reaction is dependent upon how you are going to interpret that physical reactions. For example, நல்ல குளிர்ல இருக்கு. I mean, when we go to Ooty or Kodaikanal, அந்த குளிர்ல இருக்கப்ப பார்த்தீங்கன்னா நம்மள அறியாமலே அந்த கை ஸ்லைட்டா படபடக்கும், ஒரு பல்லு ஒரு மாதிரி இதுவாகிறது. Now all these are our physical reactions to the environment. So our body, I mean our brain gets alerted that this is a severe condition that they were going to be there. So we tend to adapt to it. A reaction to the external stimulus, and what happens is perception automatically gets built in ourselves, in our brains. That is this இது ஒரு harsh condition இருக்க போது அப்படின்ற மாதிரி our body gets alerted that way. So that is how an external stimuli leading to a physical reaction, and our perception gets formed, and this will be followed by our disturbed bodily activities, and these bodily activities are followed by confused sensation. Since it is new, no, immediately our body does not respond to that environment, so it is in a our senses get confused. So generally in psychology, a person becomes aware of sensation very much similar to when the person is scared or when he is angry, losing our common control, all these things. When he's really scared or angry, this sensation he or she will identify, his body will identify. So Mr. William James has pointed that we do not run because we are afraid, but we are afraid because we are run. That is, our body reacts to it, and that physiological reaction leads to our we getting afraid, we getting scared. So that is the crux of this theory. As you can see that small diagram, that is stimulus perception, and then there is some arousal. Our body gets aroused according to the environment, and the resultant emotion is experienced by us. So see, for example, when you are going swimming, when you are swimming, automatically our heartbeat gets pumped up, our body gets into active mode. It gets much more active than our normal state. All these are actually our body's physiological reactions to the environment. Okay, the examples given in text are similar to this. That is jumping, running, wherein rapid blood circulation, and we get to huff and puff, the quick breathing. All these things are actually things happening inside our body. So these activities stimulate the receptors that is inside our body. That is the kinesthetic receptors and the organic receptors. So these receptors actually, these signals reach the brain, and they produce the mass kinesthetic and organic sensation. This mass sensation is what we call it as fear, what we experience as fear. Okay, give me a second. Yeah, so this state of fear or anger that we experience, actually, according to theory, it is actually a confused mass sensation produced by the disturbed activities of. You can go to the next slide. It is actually a confused mass sensation produced by the disturbed activities of the organism. That is what William James and JAMES-LANGE calls this. For example, suppose you are walking in the woods and you see a bear. So automatically our body tends to tremble. Our brain senses it, and our heart tends to pound. It beats faster. So the conclusion is that how our body interprets, how we interpret our physical reactions to the external stimulus leads to we getting afraid or much more thrilled. So according to this theory of emotion, you are not trembling because you're frightened. Instead, you feel frightened because you're trembled. And as I said, that is, we do not run because we are afraid. We are afraid because we are run. Just remember that. The body reactions is first, and then the emotions. Yes, that is about James-Lange theory of emotion. Okay, so next we move on to our Cannon.
Yeah. So this is one, funny example of a movie, 23 புலிகேசின்னு சொல்லி. வடிவேலு மூவி. I don't know. நிறைய பேர் பார்த்திருப்பாங்கன்னு நினைக்கிறேன்.
Many of us remember, yes.
Yes. அதுல வந்து இதே woodsல வர பியர் ஒரு சீன் வரும் ஆக்சுவலா. So he would go for a hunting. Actually, he is a king. So he would go for a hunting. And அவர் வந்து மானோட வேட்டையாட தான் போவார். He goes for a deer hunting. But in between, he sees this bear. Okay. So what happens is he tries to kill it. பட் அந்த நீ இப்போ இந்த எமோஷன் சொன்ன மாதிரி அவர் வந்து நடுக்கத்துல வந்து அந்த he will not be able to aim the bear properly. So அந்த arrow வந்து அந்த bear பக்கத்துல போய் விழும். So because of this trembling feeling, okay, so because of that trembling feeling, he will not be able to aim the arrow towards the bear properly. So that is how so it might help in remembering this James-Lange theory. So அந்த எக்ஸாம்பிள் வந்து நீங்க ஞாபகம் வச்சுக்கலாம். So he will not be able to shoot it properly. So finally the bear will spit on his face and go. Hope that movie will get remember. Just an example, sir. Okay. Yes,
yeah, I recall one of my college teacher actually, aged lady. But என்னன்னா ஒரு எஸ்கலேட்டர் போறப்போ or we went for one trip during our college days, ஊட்டி. அந்த குளூர்ல பாத்தீங்கன்னா அந்த அம்மா வந்து டிஃபால்ட்டா பக்கத்துல கையை பிடிச்சுப்பாங்க. I mean,
yes.
She does not even realize that. She would not even realize it. But அப்படியே இறுக்கி பிடிச்சுப்பாங்க. அவங்களோட பயம் நம்மளுக்கு தெரியும். அப்படியே we will feel it actually.
ஒரு ஸ்டோரி கூட கேரளின் வாஸ் saying one story actually. ஒரு குளிர்ல போகும்போது மியூச்சுவல் ஹெல்ப் பண்ணணும் அப்படின்னு சொல்லி ஒரு இது சொல்லுவாங்க. அதுலயும் குளிர்ல வந்து அவங்க தெரியாமையே பக்கத்துல இருக்கிறவங்க கையை பிடிச்சுப்பான்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. கரெக்ட், வெரி ட்ரூ. With high cold, that warmth you need. So அது வந்து வேணும் அப்படின்றதுக்கு.
Yes. So that is about our James-Lange theory. Our physical reactions first, that leads to our emotions that we experience. Next, we move to the Cannon-Bird theory of emotion. Okay. The PPT is not visible, I guess.
Yeah, not visible.
Shall I go on? Shall I just go on?
Yeah. Continue.
Yeah. This Cannon-Bird theory of emotion. See, this again is a physiological theory. Now, this Mr. Cannon actually, he disagrees with this William James and G.G. Lange in several grounds. Actually, Mr. Cannon actually, he suggests that people can experience physiological reactions linked to the emotions without actually feeling those emotions. That is what he says. Without even completely realizing, without even feeling those emotions, people can actually automatically they can experience the physiological reactions. See, for example, when we are boxing or when we are exercising, we have read in our first semester. There's something called flow, no? When we experience flow, automatically we don't realize what is happening to our body, what is happening around. We just get in that moment. So at that moment, automatically our heart rate goes up. We experience many things similar to what happens when we experience fear. But it is actually we don't realize that. Only after that exercise stops or after that activity stops, our body actually tends to rest. But we will, since we are going through that flow, we don't experience, actually we don't feel that that our body is acting too fast. Okay, that I hope you really understand this. So the canon actually suggests that these emotional responses by our body are too quick. They happen simultaneously and they are too quick. So they cannot be just simple products of the physical states. That is what our Lange and James said. That is our physiological reactions come first and then the emotions. It is not like that. It does not follow such a sequence. That is what Mr. Cannon says. So when you encounter a danger in that environment, automatically you start to experience the physical symptoms like shaking hands, rapid breathing, racing heart. So simultaneously, both these things happen. We experience the particular emotion, and our body gets aroused. Both these things simultaneously happen. So this is the theory. Now, Mr. Cannon actually proposed the theory during 1920s, but as in psychology, many theories are being expanded, are being worked upon and improvised later. Likewise, Mr. Bard, Philip Bard, actually he worked on this theory and he expanded during the 1930s, a decade later. So, comparing both these, what both these people said, we feel the theory is actually we feel emotions and experience physical reactions such as sweating, trembling, and muscle tension simultaneously. That is what this theory actually says. You can go to the next slide. Yeah, everything happens simultaneously. Um, See, more to be more precise, yesterday I've dealt with thalamus, hypothalamus, amygdala, all these things. So when the thalamus sends a message to the brain in response to the stimulus from the external environment, it will result in a physiological reaction. At the same time, the brain also receives signals triggering the emotional experience. That is, by that time, our body would have experienced emotions. So that is what these people say. Both these things happen simultaneously, both the arousal and the emotions. Okay, so it is not in sequence. One does not cause the other. That is what Cannon-Bard theory says. You can move to the two-factor theory. That is a Schachter-Singer theory. Next slide, madam. I dealt a bit this two-factor theory yesterday. That is the crux of the theory is actually emotion is actually determined by the physiological arousal and the cognitive labeling, both together. That is the two-factor theory of emotion. Two factors. Again, this is a cognitive theory of emotion. So far, we dealt with the physiological theories, the last two theories. This is a Schachter-Singer theory, is a cognitive theory. Okay. So they say that emotion is determined by the physiological arousal and cognitive labeling. They say that when we look at the external world and try to analyze as to why we get aroused, why we our heart rate picks up, it is because of the reactions from the external world. What is happening outside, our body reacts to it. So that is why this happens. They say somebody passes a nice comment, somebody praises us. We immediately feel happy. We feel ecstatical, ecstasy. We experience ecstasy. So automatically our heart rate pumps up and our body acts fast. Similarly, when we repent over something, when we realize that we have done something wrong to another person. We feel guilty. Even at the guilty also, when we feel guilt also, again our body experiences increased activity. Okay, these are all examples from our own body. So, as I said yesterday, they perform an experiment. What they do is they inject adrenaline, that is epinephrine, into some volunteers. So now, epinephrine is a drug that produces high arousal. We know that. So the volunteers were after taking this drug, these volunteers were made to observe others, the surrounding people, how they behave. That is both ends. That is both the angry way of behavior and the euphoria. That is some pleasant, the people who react like being in a dream world. Both these things they were asked to observe. Okay, so what happened is, based on what they see, what they observe, it actually this particular person who is the observer, these volunteers, they get aroused as a result. Okay, when they see a happy person, when they see an euphoric person, automatically these people also get happy. It just passes on. Similarly, when they observe the angry person, these people also get violent. These people also get anger, experience anger. So, however, this effect actually occurred only when the volunteers were not aware. They were not told of the injection, what the injection was, the true effects of the injection. They were not told. So, however, when they were informed as to what the drug is, they say that the person's behavior was the reason for their own arousal. That is, the volunteer themselves realize that the person whom they are observing, their reactions, their behavior was the reason. Okay, that is what they get it. So this theory actually says that the physiological arousal occurs first, and then the individual identifies the reason for this arousal. To experience that arousal and to label it as an emotion. Okay, a stimulus leads to a physiological response that is then cognitively interpreted and labeled, which results in an emotion. This is the Schachter-Singer theory. Now, I hope you got it. Based on our past experience, based on our own knowledge, we try to interpret the behavior, what we observe. This is the Schachter-Singer theory. You can move on to the next slide now. Actually, I've explained the next slide also. You can move to the next slide. This is actually a development of both the theories that we have discussed. That is the James-Lange theory and the Cannon-Baird theory. They improvise on it. They say that people conclude the emotions. See, we are angry, or we are happy, or we are guilt. We feel guilt. They conclude that how, based on the physiological responses that our body expresses. So the critical factor is the situation, that particular environment which we are in, and our own knowledge, our own cognition, how we interpret. Again, this interpretation may vary from person to person, because their knowledge sample may differ. Obviously, they may differ. Okay. They say that Schachter and Singer say that similar physiological responses can also produce varying emotions. That is, see, our palms get sweaty, or our heart rate goes up, especially when we face an exam wherein we don't know the answers. We don't see. You would have some of us would have experienced even in the first sem also. That is um, anxiety actually. That is without proper preparation. We immediately conclude that we have not prepared. Okay, so um, if you experience, no, somebody wants to speak. No, somebody wants to speak on. I mean, discuss about their how they felt soon after they received their first some question paper.
Yeah, I would like to share actually. One girl was sitting next to me. Actually, I don't remember the name. Same thing happened. So she saw the question paper and she was writing actually. Then in between, she was frequently drinking water. She is adjusting the hair and completely she couldn't. I could see that she was not. I mean, she has not prepared well for the exam. So she was in that tension and emotion, so she was frequently drinking water. She was keep on adjusting her hair and something or other she was doing, but very less writing she was doing. So yes, it happens, emotion when you get tensed, so you don't see, you have not seen any answers which is what you have read from the paper, I mean the syllabus, and it is not relevant to the question paper, then you feel that emotion. Okay, that you start trembling and you do such emotional things, so which immediately others can see that you are in a tensed emotional state. Yeah.
Sticking strictly to the topic, as they say, the physical reactions can produce varying emotions. I noticed somebody that I don't want to name the person. I know him, but I don't want to name. He saw the question paper and started smiling. For the next 5 minutes, he was just laughing.
So
So that is
yes,
what it can produce varying emotions in persons based on their knowledge set. So
anybody can wants to share their, I mean you can share, it's a common forum, so nobody will things, but you can share it. So it's all our class group only,
Naveen,
so nobody, yes, nobody is going to question you or
Hi, sir.
make- yeah.
Sorry. Sorry. So I just have a small clarification. So you said we have lived in the cave, and the fear started from there, looking at the animal. Uh, that is point number one, where I agree that. Point number two, um, I just wanted to know, uh, is really, since we felt the fear that is carried from the human being through the DNA, and we still have that fear, is that one of the reason? That is point number one of the reason. The second thing is that, do we have an inbuilt fear within ourselves? As you have quoted many examples like snakes, so people nowadays in city, they do not have any experience looking at the snakes or running away. They just learning. Is the brain reacting towards the learning behavior? Are we reacting to the fear by learning? That is point number two. Let me repeat. The point number one is, how is the DNA, fear DNA is carrying throughout the human being. Second one, by learning, definitely by experiencing the fear, the brain will react. Without experiencing, by learning, the child will know that yes, snake will harm us. That's the fear. By learning something, so that learning will carry the fear. That is point number two. And what we are discussing right now, I just want to quote an example that physiologically the body reacts is that um, a kid wanted to take the injection will have that fear. by going to the doctor. Whether he's taking the injection or not, if you tell that we are going to the doctor, obviously he gets scared. So that I just wanted to quote an example. So can you just clarify whether the DNA, first the fear of experiencing one, the carry of DNA and learning and inbuilt fear. Am I clear? Is my question clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'll just share one example. See, obviously, the genetical, our genetic in psychology, it is called as predisposition. That is, I'll share an example. See, recently we were to Koldi Hills. Our group actually visited the Koldi Hills. We were actually traveling along with some tribals. Okay, so you have heard of bees, honeybees, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So see, I'm a person for centuries. I mean, to my knowledge, we have always lived in plain lands. Okay, so in spite of the warning I got, the reaction to that honeybees, the string of honeybees coming towards us, is fear, naturally fear, and we close our eyes and just uh, uh, get down,
Yeah,
try
move.
to avoid it. That's
Yeah.
all. Okay. While at the same time, we were just observing the tribals. See, they were just casual.
Yeah.
It is as if like they were encountering some breeze or something. They were just casually standing there. See, this is actually uh, as per my observation, it is actually genetics. Uh,
Okay.
that knowledge, that genetic knowledge, has been built upon these people. That so they naturally don't get fear because of the honeybee attack. Okay, so obviously this is what is called as predisposition, genetic predisposition in psychology. Uh, what happens is over time, over generations, this knowledge gets built into them. So obviously, genetics influence a lot on emotional traits. Uh, uh, See, actually, uh, uh, there are some genes called as HTTLPR. I mean, since I did not want to go deep into biology, I did not touch this. But see, what
It's
happens is
okay. Yeah.
this particular gene is actually responsible for our serotonin formation. That is, normally some amount of serotonin gets secreted in those situations, but the spike, no, the immediate spike of serotonin is because of this gene. They say that these genes I mean, it is much more well pronounced in athletes, people who sprint, people who regularly do marathons, uh, people who live in the hills, people who I mean, soldiers and people who are in war. They say that genetically LPR is more pronounced. Okay, so obviously genetics has a larger role in our emotions. Uh, okay,
Sir,
I hope.
shall I add one more thing?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Here, to answer Mr. Naveen Kumar's question, what we are discussing here, I think it is only about the theories where how we experience the emotions and only the interplay between physiological responses and cognitive responses. Such things are discussed. Just the interplay, how one comes first and the other comes next. So it is not that which one is playing like which one is it plays a major role, and like things like that only we are discussing, just the interplay.
Oh, okay.
Am I right, Mr. Randu sir?
Yes, yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Theory is
Correct me.
strictly no. Theory is strictly what these people say. That's all. But since
Yeah.
Naveen sir raised that point, I just wanted to go into that.
Yeah.
That's all.
Okay. Okay, sir, you can continue.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. So that was about our Schachter Singer theory, the two-factor theory. I'll now move on to our cognitive appraisal theory. Next slide, madam. So you can go to the next slide. I'll first explain and then we'll come to the diagram. See, I hope this is in our text also. You just go through the sequence. We see some danger. Okay, immediately what happens is immediately on seeing the snake, our body tends to appraise. Okay, it tries to analyze how to react to this. So what happens is according to this appraisal theory is actually given by Mr. Lazarus. Okay, he says that this thinking that even though millisecond or those seconds, first we tend to think. That thinking leads to the emotions. Okay, actually, Mr. Richard Lazarus is actually a well-known expert in emotions, and his theory is called as the Lazarus theory of emotion or the cognitive appraisal theory. Okay, so the crux of the theory is the sequence of events first involves a stimulus. The stimulus, external stimulus comes, so that is immediately followed by the thought, which then leads to the simultaneously leads to the physiological response and the emotion. That is his theory. Okay. So see, again, we'll go back to our beer example. Immediately after encountering a beer, what happens is we immediately start thinking that we are in danger, in a great danger. Nobody is there to save us. So the thinking leads to the emotion called fear, extreme fear. Okay, and that leads to the physical reactions, that fight or flight. Okay, basically this is the theory, cognitive appraisal theory. First we thought, and then the thought leads to body appraises it, and the thought leads to the simultaneously the response and the emotion. Okay, I hope you got the cognitive appraisal theory. See, this diagram is actually the difference between our James-Lange theory, Cannon-Bar theory, the two-factor theory, and the cognitive mediation theory.
Yeah, sir, got it.
This is also in a text. You can go through that. Okay, you can move to the for a second. You can go to the previous slide, madam. Okay, this is theory, that is there is a stress-causing stimuli. Primarily, our body analyzes it, appraises it. It tries to understand whether it's a challenge or a threat. So if it is a challenge, our body gets thrilled. It tries to compete. If it is a threat, it tries to it infers that it may lead to our personal harm. It may lead to something negative. So again, body reassesses it. It categorizes whether it's a low threat or a high threat. Okay, so if it is a high threat, immediately we flee. We just flee. If it is a low threat, we try to deal with the situation. This is the cognitive appraisal theory. You can move on to the next slide. Next slide, madam. Next. Yeah. Now, I've already explained this theory. That is thought first, leading to physiological response and the emotion. The same example is being given in a text also. Can move to the next slide. Then the facial feedback theory. Okay. This facial feedback theory actually suggests that now, as I initially, before going to the theory, I just said about the expressions of neighbors, how we tend to get it, how we try to receive it, and how it influences our emotions. Okay, so Mr. Darwin and James both noted physiological responses had a direct impact on the emotion, rather than simply being a consequence of the emotion. Okay, so the supporters of this theory suggest that emotions actually they are directly tied to the changes in the facial muscles. Okay, that is a typical example is given in text. That is people who are actually forced to smile at a social function, though it is artificial, they end up experiencing having a fun time, better time than people who are uninterested in that function. They frown, okay, or they simply stand. The people who, though they do an artificial smile, they tend to have a better time. So this emotions are directly linked to our facial reactions, facial muscles, changes in the facial muscles. That is the facial feedback theory. Okay. So this is about the 6 theories of emotions. I hope everybody got it. Now I'll move to the approximate age at which from the as an infant to the adult, particular individual, how they learn it, how they and their body understands it. Next slide, correct. Go to the next slide. So the first month the infant develops excitement naturally. I mean, this is what is given in the text assets. I just reproduced that. Even in a developmental psychology, I think they've dealt somewhat. 3 months, within 3 months, we understand distress and delight. 6 months, within 6 months, we understand fear, disgust, anger. The baby, if it is not given what it asks, immediately it tries to get angry. Also fear also. Because of fear, it actually starts crying. And within 12 months, elation and affection is understood. And within 18 months, affection for other children, affection for other adults, the baby tries to it forms as part of its cognitive knowledge. And within 2 years, jealousy and joy is being understood by the individual. And within 5 years, all the 6 emotions, shame, anxiety, fear, disappointment, envy, hope, all these things get formed into the system of that particular individual. This is the approximate ages of at which different emotions appear. This is actually based on a conclusion of various theories. In our Bernstein book, actually they've explained about it. If somebody wants to read, they can read. Then we move on to the expressions of emotions. Next slide, madam. So, how our facial expressions and the biological count, what are the muscles, all these things. Happiness, our naturally our mouth tends to get raised. There are 6 linear muscles involved. Sadness, we tend to get a slump. Our mouth corners get lowered. Our eyes look a bit dejected. Surprise, brow arc, eyes open wide. And fear, our brows raised, eyes, open mouth further opens. And disgust, our upper lip is raised. nose bridge is wrinkled, cheeks raised, and anger, brows lowered, here lips pressed, firmly, eyes bulging. Even eyes get red also. Okay. All these things are expressions of emotions. There is some theory to it. That is, actually, people express emotions not only through speech, but non-verbal expressions also. So, their body language is a direct uh, symptom, direct a mirror of what emotions they undergo. So uh, they have classified 6 facial expressions, uh, which corresponds to distinct universal emotions. That is disgust, sadness, happiness, fear, anger, and surprise. Uh, you can see that of those 6 emotions, 4 are actually negative. That is disgust, sadness, fear, and anger. Uh, this actually non-verbal behavior does not just include facial expressions. It also includes the posture. See, when we are sad or when we are down, naturally our shoulder gets slumped. It looks down. When we are upbeat, when we are really happy, we tend to stand tall. Our chest gets broad. So all these postures and gestures, they are also uh, a direct mirror of our emotions. So this 6 basic emotions, this was actually identified by Mr. Paul Ekman. Okay, this is about expressions of emotions. You can move to the next slide. So some of the you can move to the next slide. This I've already explained. Some of the facial expressions, frowns, smiles, and sad expression combined with the gestures such as the movement of one's hands, spoken words, are all manifestations of emotion. Uh, we tend to do a lot of activities um, based on the emotions we feel actually. Uh, this expression of emotion not only conveys, but also it actually propels more emotions. Um, Even in our first sem, we have read about this spiral theory. So what happens is it propels more emotions in the body. And even in India, the expression of emotion was first theorized by sage Bharata during the 5th century. So rasa, I think Avanivan படத்துல they have detailed அந்த 6 ரசம் நவரசத்தையும் அவங்க பண்ணி செஞ்சு காப்பாரு மிஸ்டர் விஷால். He does that. So that is the rasa theory. You can move to the next slide. So you can, dealing exclusively about the facial expressions. So each emotion has its characteristic facial expression. So it may vary uh, on depending upon the cultures. See, for example, in India we say S. When we say S, we actually nod from top to bottom, whereas in Europe it is different. The nodding, the acknowledgement is the way of acknowledgement is different. So it depends upon the cultures. Um, Charles Darwin actually was the first to theorize that emotions were actually product of evolution and therefore universal, no matter what their culture. He actually characterizes some of the facial expressions which give meaning as to what emotions that particular individual undergoes. So, according to this facial feedback hypothesis, expressions actually can reflect the emotions as well as influence them. Okay, because just a short while we read about how the facial muscles contribute to difference in our change in facial muscles contribute to a difference in our emotions. So this actually signals the brain, and they actually influence our further emotions. So Again, the nose, lips, eyes, forehead all take different forms of twitching, contracting, expanding, twisting. All these things happen. So these three dimensions of emotional expression are shown by the facial expression. Now, for example, when we feel happier, we smile, and when we feel sadder, we frown. So, as I said, Mr. Paul Ekman has theorized this 6 emotions and the different facial expressions attached to it. You can move to the next slide. So there are 6 facial expressions. That is, Ekman actually categorizes these 6 expressions. That is pleasantness and unpleasantness. So pleasantness, whenever we feel pleasant, our happy face, actually, naturally our face tends to smile. Even our eyes smile, they say. When somebody is happy, even the eyes smile, it seems. The feeling of smile and laughter. Whereas when we go through something unpleasant and some uncomfortable situation, naturally our face becomes sad. It actually leads to more sadness. Okay, that is about the pleasantness and unpleasantness forms of emotional expression. Then attention rejection. That is when we tend to be attentive to a speech. For example, when somebody is speaking, when some good speaker is speaking, naturally our eye tends to grow large. They expand. Our muscles try to expand, and especially when somebody is speaking about something, how do I put it, something surprising, something really wonderful, something we have not heard before, naturally our mouth tends to get open. They say in Tamil, "Vaai pathru ukkandhu irukkan," something like that. That is what happens when we try to um, grow more attentive. Likewise, when there is we also go through rejection. When going through rejection, we actually, our eyes gets contracted, the opposite of attentiveness. Our lips, nostril also gets contracted. That is about attention and rejection. Then sleep and tension. That is actually when we undergo sleep, we tend to be a lot more relaxed compared to a normal course. We actually feel that relaxation when we are when we are sleeping. Whereas when we are tensed, we experience anger, or either anger or excitement, whichever, when we are tensed. So that is the emotional expression. Tension is actually the emotional expression of the form of emotional expression of anger. Then a startling reaction. Okay, startling reaction when something. See, for example, we are sleeping sound. Our body is really relaxed, and suddenly our alarm pops up, home alarm pops up. That is, our body gives an immediate jolt. It startles. So that is a reflex action. Since it's unexpected, sometimes we utter a loud noise also, or we suddenly move. So that is actually an expression of startling reaction. See, when we are sitting and suddenly we touch something hot, we try to move away from that stimuli immediately. That is again an example of a startling reaction. So again, this reaction is an inborn response. It is an involuntary expression of the stimuli actually. Our arms, legs, muscle, our eyes start blinking. All these things happen. There's a change in blood pressure. Everything happens during startling reaction. So then there is a vocal expressions. Emotion is also expressed through voice. That is, you can when we see, you can always realize when we call somebody, we tend to understand in what state that person is merely based on the voice. When the voice trembles, we understand that that person is going through something um, some crisis.
One moment.
Yes.
In developmental psychology, we learnt about Moro reflex. For an infant, even without when the infant is even very small, even 1 or 2 months old, suddenly if the child is, you pretend as if you're letting the child go, and as if the child is going to fall down, it stretches its arms immediately, and the legs also. That is the inborn response of getting startled.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes. So that is about the voice. We can also sense happiness also in voice. Just on the phone call, we can actually sense happiness. And people tend to talk loud when they're angry. Without them even realizing it, they actually talk loud. So all these are actually voice expressions. Then there are gestures and postures. As I said earlier, we actually unknowingly we convey joy or sorrow based on uh, based on our gestures and postures. Actually, in sorrow, when we are going through some depression, our actually face slumps down. Whereas in happiness, our head is held high. We feel that the world is for us. We have an upright posture. All these things happen when we are happy. And when we are angry, we are aggressive. And when we are going through scare, when we are going through fear, we try to run away from that place. So all these gestures and postures are also forms of emotional expression. Next, we'll move on to dimension of emotions.
Anbu sir, I want to add.
Yeah, please.
Nowadays, I don't know whether we can see their face and all, but they are able to show their emotions through emoji. so many of the messages will get emojis. So it'll have all the happiness, sadness, surprise, all emojis they will have. So they'll share. So this emojis will you can keep that as an example, or keep that in mind for
Super.
expression of emotions.
Sir, in the first term,
Emojis are the best examples, I think.
the last 6 months, especially in our WhatsApp group,
Yeah.
the way people kept on asking the same question, only startling was the only reaction.
Yes,
Yeah.
rightly said. Yeah.
Can I add one more?
Yes.
Yeah.
Please, ma'am.
Actually, yeah. Hi. Actually, facial expressions, is very important, and because in personality development program, mostly they concentrate on the facial expressions only. Because when you become a public speaker, or you are a motivational trainer, and especially, and if you want to become a counselor also, and counseling people, the facial expression is very, very important. If you observe the public speakers, especially when they're cracking the jokes, or they're actually telling a sad story or something like that, like, you have to see their gestures and postures and the facial expressions. It'll just take us, it is a special a training we need, because it will just take us into the story itself. And hearing that story and looking at their facial expressions and the gestures and postures, we also tend to cry or laugh, so depending upon their expressions, emotional expressions. And as a psychologist, and when you're counseling in future, I think the facial expression is very, very, very important. I think you have, that's what I want to tell you, like, because these things, we've learned it practically, not in theoretical, but we need to learn even more practically how facial expressions can affect the people in front of us. So we'll do it separately. Okay. Thank you.
One addition,
Yeah.
don't know whether whether you sync with it. Actually, psychologists who are going to research, of late, we find that facial expressions also deceive. Okay, maybe this may be a research also, interesting point of study. Facial expressions, people actually give different reactions, weird reactions to different situations. That is happening.
Yeah, particularly after TikTok has come barged in.
Yes, see, I actually happened to interview people. I mean, one of my responsibilities such. So when I interview people, I find there's a sea change in the facial expressions of people compared to like 10 years back. There's a complete difference.
So you mean to say not only appearances, also expressions are deceptive?
Yeah, yeah, sure. They are changing. Yes, Mr. Allen.
Yeah, yes, yes.
Yes, most of them are sarcastically used, most of them, right? Yeah. Yeah, yeah. One example I can give for this, Mr. Allen. Sorry for interrupting. For smiling, for laughter, example. The millennials and the Gen Z people, no, they use Halloweens, which we will never even think of.
Actually, I tried to slightly differ. Actually, especially I recall an interview. It was a geography interview. It was an interview for a geography thing. So what happened is this particular person showed no facial expression. He was there. She was just like blunt. Okay, but we immediately presumed the start of the interview that it will be a waste of time. But the way the interview progressed and the way the person answered, it was innovative, and we never anticipated that. So that is why I say there is a sea change in the facial expressions. Maybe they are even trained at that. Though they know something, they are trained not to reveal that. So that is why I said it is deceiving. Okay, thanks for the discussion. So, since we are short of time, I'll just quickly move on. We have 5 more topics. I'll just quickly run through it. All these 5 are repeated as 5 mark questions in our previous papers. First is the dimension of emotion. Mr. Robert Plutchik, actually, he devised a wheel. You can go to the next slide, madam. You can just show that wheel once. He actually devised this wheel, the various emotions, uh, and the various situation, and how this wheel is formed. Okay, he actually devised this wheel to oversimplify the entire theory, his own theory. Okay, you can go to the previous slide. He actually classifies the emotions into 4 dimensions. That is positive and negative, primary and mixed. Many are polar opposites, and they vary in intensity. For example, when somebody undergoes ecstasy, when somebody gets unexpected symptoms, unexpected high marks, uh, uh, a cricket game or a football game the next weekend, enthusiasm to it, all these are actually positive emotions. In contrast, uh, can you give 2 minutes, please? I need to take a call. Give me 2 minutes.
Nice. Discussing about the Gen Z's emotions. How they are now interpreted in a different angle, and nice to hear that people are also exploring about it. Thanks for the information, Mr. Allen. Because when we discuss with smaller kids, when we mingle with smaller kids, the way they are into internet is totally different.
Yes.
Good,
Thank
great.
you, Alan. Just adding, so the emojis has been created uh, based upon the children's, actually, especially the kids' reactions. So it is not the adults or grown-up kids. It's especially with the very the age below 5. So those reactions has been actually created, as far as I have heard. And one of the, I just wanted to share a small point. Uh, so a site, the Chinese site has been uh, quoted an example to where you can control your facial expression will change even though you are in a stress or anger. When you see a baby who's smiling, as sir said, the physiological changes come from your body by looking at a baby. So that saint has been advised to a king when he was stressed, it seems. So these emojis are created from the kids, and kids are teaching us right now. So it's also
Yeah.
related to the technology as well.
Hmm.
Yes. So, shall I just move on?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when we experience happiness, when we, when we get an unexpected high, we tend to get this positive emotions. In contrast, like when somebody dies, when somebody close to us dies, or when we get angry, when somebody attacks us verbally, we tend to undergo grief. Okay, so this is about our positive and negative emotions. In positive emotions, actually enhance our self-esteem, whereas negative emotions lower our self-esteem. Positive emotions improve our relationship with us. Negative emotions tend to make us aloof. Okay, uh, Robert Plutchik actually believes that emotions are like colors, various colors. So that explains the wheel actually. He tries to color similar emotions in similar colors, and every color spectrum can be produced by mixing these primary colors. So that is the idea of the wheel. Happiness, disgust, surprise, sadness, anger, fear are the primary emotions. And combining sadness and surprise actually produces disappointment. Uh, Combining love and anger produces jealousy, extreme love and anger. And so like this, Plutchik developed this like what we say, combining yellow and blue actually produces green. Likewise, similar, like colors, like emotions. So Plutchik developed these emotions wheel to show how primary emotions adjacent to each other produce other emotions. It is a blend of emotions. So it must be noted that some emotions are actually opposites: love and remorse, optimism and disappointment. So all these things, yes, theorized. So that is about the dimension of emotions. Next, we'll move on to this adaptive and disruptive emotions. So adaptive and disruptive emotions, uh, I mean, positive affectivity refers to positive emotions such as joy, happiness, love, and interest. Negative affectivity refers to negative emotions such as anxiety, anger, guilt, and sadness. So positive emotions actually facilitate approach behavior. That is, approach behavior meaning we tend to get attracted by that individual who displays the positive emotions. In other words, positive effect increases the likelihood that individuals will interact with their environment and engage in activities that are adaptive for the individual. They try to. That is what our good old spiral theory. It broadens spiral theory. It tries to multiply. The positive emotions tends to multiply. Um, Joy increases by creating the urge to play, push limits, and be creative. Interest broadens by creating the motivation to explore and expand the self. Okay. And there is also research also. There is an increasing interest in the positive affectivity. We have already dealt with this in our positive psychology. So positive emotions actually improve coping. If you recall, in our positive psychology, there was a part where children in malnourished conditions, underdeveloped nations, how they survive. This is exactly what we are talking about. Um, Positive affectivity actually increase their well-being, and their survival instincts gets better, and they cope with how whatever harsh environment it is. Okay, so the individuals who experienced positive emotions, much more positive emotions than others, actually developed broader coping strategies. Uh, they tend to come up with innovative solutions innovative solutions to problems. Okay, and they tend to recede from that particular challenging situation, and they tend to think more. They tend to think more objectively instead of getting into that moment, getting hampered by that challenge. Okay, so in some cases, joy, happiness, love, and interest actually annuls the effect of the negative emotions such as sadness. Examples, for example, mild joy and satisfaction actually it is found to undo the cardiovascular effects like negative emotions such as sadness. So to summarize, positive emotions are likely to serve important functions in individuals' adaptation, growth, and social connection. By building personal and social resources, positive emotions spirals and it improves the overall well-being of the individual. So that is about adaptive and disruptive thing. There are some experiments also. Can move to the next slide.
Sir, can we continue tomorrow? It's 8:30 already.
Just 5 more minutes, I think I can finish it up.
Okay, fine.
Because tomorrow I'll just deal with stress and coping with it.
Okay.
Okay, just 5 more minutes. There is an example where the college students were divided into 3 groups: very happy students, average students, and very unhappy students. So based on their behavior, they summed up how the positive emotions, negative emotions, how the people coped up in different environments. So the recent research actually indicates somebody speaking. Yeah. So psychological and personal characteristics, high levels of self-esteem, optimism, extraversion, a supportive network, a culture that promotes positive interpretation, work and leisure, a faith, a belief that we have a support. All these things tend to make us happy and improve our positive emotions. Then we move on to managing negative emotions. I'll just instead of explaining, I'll just read out the topics alone. Keeping away from the negativity, doing something positive when you're undergoing that negative emotions, being happy, doing yoga and doing meditation, managing the anger, managing the ego, identifying the feeling. Actually, I explained yesterday, emotions are temporary, moods are somewhat longer, and the feeling is more permanent. So when we understand the base feeling, we can deal with it much better, in a much better way. So ask what would help us to feel better, change to overcome the challenges. That is changing our environment, changing our reaction to the environment to overcome the challenges, and the firm belief in ourselves that if we can overcome any challenge. Okay, that is about managing negative emotions. Can move to the next slide. 2 more slides, I can close it up. Enhancing positive emotions. That is, positive moods promote positive behavior. A positive mind anticipates happiness, health, joy, and the successful outcome of every situation and action. So, like Vivekananda said, the mind actually finds what it expects, what it thinks. Even our Paulo Coelho explains this in our Alchemist, the book Alchemist. The universe actually tries to expand what you're searching, what you're feeling. So happy people tend to like other people more, and more satisfaction brings more happiness. So there are 6 categories of behavior that results from happiness, which enhance positive emotions. That is social support, humor, sociability and activity, likability and cooperation, pro-social behavior, well-being and coping. Actually, if you actually analyze these 6 characteristics, they're nothing but our Maslow's needs. Okay. Then training and modifying emotions. That is, in any point of time, how we can train our emotions to be better. Actually, emotion is dynamic in nature, and it cannot be suppressed totally, but it cannot be destroyed, but it can very well be altered. It is like a stream of water, which cannot be obstructed permanently, but based on some outlet, it can be altered. So these are the ways of modifying the emotions: redirection, sublimation, catharsis, inhibition, mental occupation, positive suggestions, affectionate environment, and example is better than precept. So I'll share some examples of all these words, some papers also, some pages also. So with this, the second chapter is over. I'll deal with stress and coping with it tomorrow.
Yeah, I just want to add one more thing. I'll introduce, I mean, if I have time, in some other class where I take, but I think it's more related to positive emotions only. It's a small exercise. We can do it ourselves because we are a psychology student, so we can do that exercise ourselves, and it is like a self-journaling. You journal with that exercise, and and find out what kind of emotions, negative emotions are in a has an upper hand in us, like now it has I mean the which kind of negative emotions we emote regularly. So these kind of this is a very small exercise. It will be very, very helpful. Someday I will just post it on, or when I take class, maybe I will display it, and there's a small exercise on self journaling. So that's very important to maintain our emotions, so that because when we maintain only our emotions, I think we are able to counsel others. So first we need to practically self journaling using these exercises. So there are many exercises for this, but I'll give you one small example later on. Thank you. Thank you, Anbu sir.
Yeah,
Well,
thank
we'll
you.
wind up.
Yes, good night.
Yeah, okay. Thank you all. Good night.
Yeah, thank you all.
See you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.